Hello everyone and welcome back to Jacqs Scraps. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of the DIY Memorydex videos. In the last tutorial, I showed you how to transform a Dollar Tree tray into a Memorydex card holder. I'll have that video linked down below for you. And in this video, we will be creating 2 Memorydex cards. Our first Memorydex card will be this farm to table barn shaped Memorydex card, and what's fun about this is it actually has a shaker in it and a little flip up for the Memorydex. Really fun. Our next card is a mixed media card that I created, and this is using Ireland Forever, and both of these paper collections were brought to me by Country Craft Creations, and the Ireland Forever paper is a Country Craft Creation exclusive design. So I was really excited to take that and make a little office design here with our file cabinet over here, our little Ireland lady on the phone with her cup of coffee, which is so adorable. And I just love this. I did stamping, I did stenciling and modeling paste, all kinds of stuff to get this created. So I hope that you will enjoy learning how to create these 2 cards. So for this Memorydex card, I am using the Carta Bella Farm to Table collection that I've already crafted with. I made that barn mini album, and what I did was I used the same Cricut files that I created for the mini album for this Memorydex card. I will have that link down below for those that have Cricut. For those that don't, I'm just going to provide some measurements in the description box for you for the size of the Memorydex card. All the way across, including the little ledge here, it is about 4 and it's almost 4.5. This part down here is 4 inches wide, and the height is 4 7/8. So I just shrunk it down to be like a normal Memorydex size. Now you could easily do that with the template that I previously provided and just shrink it down. I also cut a extra piece for the Memorydex holes. I have a piece of vellum that I cut, and I'm going to put this on top of it and add it here. I'm going to do something a little different. I cut this out of another Cricut file that I found from a different image, and I added it to this file so that I could use it here. Because what I want to do is add that here. And I want to add some of this mesh ribbon on the back of this and make it a shaker. And then this will also lift up and it will reveal home is where my hens are. That will be behind it like that. It's going to look kind of neat because you'll see the sequin stuff and it will look like it's chicken food. And then you'll actually kind of see just a little bit of a silhouette of the chickens behind the door as if they're in the barn. Kind of cute. And then, of course, I have my animals to decorate the front of it. And I'm going to be adding this little window here at the top with a chicken and some hay as if she's sitting in the window. So it will look like this when I'm all done. So I'm going to get started on putting this together. So here we are with our final Memorydex card, which is a shaker. And how fun is that to have the barn doors be a shaker? On the front here, we have our animals, and then I've added some more of the Recollections sequins, and I've kind of put it strategically where the cow and pig are eating, as well as around them. It gives a little sparkle to the project, and it looks like little shards of grass, maybe. And we have our chicken up here looking out the window of the barn. And when you lift this up, it says, "Home is where my hens are." And I've added a little bit of green grass here to kind of mirror the front. I love how that turned out. Now I probably will put a little Velcro dot or something in there to keep this shut, but you really don't need to. Once this is in your Memorydex box or roller and you have another card in front of it, there will be no problem with it staying shut. So I hope you liked how this turned out. This will look really nice in our new Memorydex box. For this Memorydex card, I'm going to be doing something a little different, and I've sized my Memorydex card to be 4 1/4 by 5. I was recently watching one of Stamperia's designers. Her name is Sarah, and I really loved what she did, and I want to try and recreate something similar onto this Memorydex card. And it's kind of a mixed media Memorydex, so that's going to be quite exciting to do. So I have my card size here. I have pulled out the Ireland Forever paper, and I pulled out this image. I love this, so vintage with the writing and the text here. And I'm going to be placing that on here. And then I've also pulled out some other images like the stamp. I have some of the ledger here, and I've actually kind of curled this. I've inked everything with vintage photo. I have part of a clock from the paper. Here's another stamp impression. And then I just have pieces of the paper, and I'm going to be creating this little scene, and I may or may not use this, but it's there. So I'm going to have this little scene here of her like she is in an office. So I'm creating this little office element for the Memorydex card. So I have some chipboard pieces and some white cardstock, and I'm doing both of these to kind of layer it and get it to be a little bit high. So it should be, you know, probably about 1/8 of an inch or less. By the time I'm done, it will be 1/8 of an inch thick. So we're going to create a little file cabinet over here with our pieces, and then we're going to add some words where handles should be, and I think it's going to be really cute. So we'll have like the paper coming out of the drawers, and I'd like to include some other things like pencils and scissors and things like that that you would find in an office. And I just think this is going to be adorable. At least I hope so. So in addition to this kind of spread, what I'm also wanting to do is use some stencils. I have this one here from the Crafters Workshop. I don't know the name of it. It doesn't actually have a name. But I love this one with the dots on there. Maybe it's down here on the bottom. I'll look when I open it. And then I also have this one as well. This is a Hero Arts stencil, and I got this from Hobby Lobby like, what, two years or so ago. So I'm for sure using this one. I don't know if I'm going to use this one or not. But I want to do a little bit of mixed media with some modeling paste for the stencil. I have some white gesso, and I'm going to be adding that to the areas where there will be no paper. And then I've already selected some distressed inks that I'm going to use. Distressed Stain from Tim Holtz. We have peeled paint, fossilized amber, and antique linen. In addition to those, I thought it might be fun to spray some glimmer mist on it from Tattered Angels, and so I have this really nice gold color that would look good on there. So So I also have a distress sprayer. I love this sprayer. It's so good. I have a little palette here that I might use. I have some brushes. I have a paper towel. I have my Dollar Tree little canister with some water in it. And then I have my craft mat. So that's everything that I'm going to be using. And I even have some baby wipes if I need those as well. So that's everything that I'm going to be using to create this Memorydex card. What I plan to do now that I've kind of walked you through my idea and what you need to create it, I'm probably just going to create this and put a little music on and go through the steps there for you. If I think of anything that I need to tell you for sure, I'll come back at the end when it's all done and let you know. So let's get started. I'm pretty excited about this and I hope that it turns out. All right, let's get going. So here is the finished Memorydex card that I created for Ireland Forever. And I filmed up to a certain point, as you saw, doing the background, and then I started to decorate. Well, I stopped filming when I was decorating because it was really hard for me because I kept trying different things and it was just a little bit too much. So I thought I would go through what I did and that would help you. at least you saw me do the background, and that was really the main thing that I wanted to share with you on how to create the background. As you saw when I first started doing the background, it was very light, and that's not what I wanted. So then I ended up using the dauber directly on the Memorydex card, and then it worked out. I think the colors turned out perfect. It all just kind of blends in really well with the colors of Ireland Forever, that collection, and I'm really happy with this. I hope the colors are coming through because it just is a perfect match. So let me walk you through. You saw me lay down the Ireland paper. You saw me create a file cabinet, and then I used the Tim Holtz metallic stickers quotations to add words to the file cabinet, which say create, love, and explore. And I tried to line them all up on one side so that you could see part of the word love, but you can always lift this up and look at it. It doesn't really matter. I was so excited to be able to use lots of stickers in my stash and rub-ons. It was so exciting. So here are some Miss Carolyn rub-ons, and I've had these for a very, very long time in my stash. And so I used them to add on some of these little floral pieces here. Those are just rub-ons here. Because I did some stamping and I wasn't liking some of the stamping that I did, so then I used the rub-ons to go over the stamping and over here as well. So what I found is if you don't like it, continue to build on it because you can correct it by just adding on layers. So that's my motto for this particular Memorydex card. Just keep going. All right, so I added this. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I was using these Crafters Square gold metallic stickers, and this one with the deer had a coffee cup, and so I added it to her table. Like, isn't that a hoot? I love that. It fit in there really well. I used some Paper Studio butterfly stickers and added these craft butterflies here. I love that they're craft and that they kind of blend in with the background, but yet provide a little pop of color. And then here are some more of the metallic stickers from Crafters Square, and I used one of those little branches here. Now I like this one because it had little round dots at the end, and it kind of mimicked her shirt, and that's why I like that, and as well as why I picked the rub-on that I did. In the corners, even though I did some modeling paste up here in the corner, I just needed something to like bring it all in. It was too open, I thought. So I used these Crafters Squares metallic puffy stickers, and these are fairly new. These corner pieces I used from there just on these two angles. Now you are brought in to the Memorydex, and this is where you're staying. Your focus is staying here. And I really love how that turned out. For this particular puffy metallic stamp, I use the, I call this a time turner? Is that what they're called? But I added that here in front of the clock. The clock just wasn't enough. It needed something more. It needed some dimension to it. So I added that here. I loved how that turned out. Now here is another metallic puffy sticker that I use from Crafters Square, and from that I use the key here, as well as this like little turner right there. Super cute. These little pencils are from the Reset Girl. The scissors are from Thickers, from the Whimsical stickers from Paige Evans. Love how that turned out there. They are purple, but I just went with it. And then I added the little ampersand as well from that collection. And then these are the stamps that I used. I used this one here and the little postage to stamp along down here. I made some lines up here and up there. And then I used this one over on this side. And I really didn't like how it turned out, but when you put the rub-on over it, it looks perfectly fine. This is a Simple Story See the World stamp set. So that's everything that I put on here. I am just loving this. I hope you guys like this. I would really love your feedback on it, because, you know, it almost makes me want to do another one. It's really inspiring once you get started. You really get into it and it's hard to stop. But I love this so much. So here is my final Memorydex tray decorated. I know I've been saying box, so you could say either one really. You saw me put in the marigold paper on the bottom, and what I did on the inside, on both of the long sides, I added some decorative trim, Merchant 41 from Hobby Lobby. It's just called Copper, and I thought that went really well with the colors of the flowers. And I really just like having a little decorative piece on the inside of the tray. And then all the way around the tray, I added this lace with pearls down the center. And I used this decorative trim that was also from Hobby Lobby, and it's just called Ivory. I really love how that turned out. Makes it look really soft. And I love that the ivory matched the color of the tray. Really nice. On the front, I added this little circle here. It says, my hobbies include, and then I made a very tiny Memorydex card and I put MDC on it. So my hobbies include MDC. I just thought it was kind of fun. This little wooden veneer came from Color Cast Designs. I just put a little bit of vintage ink around the sides of that. The little paper here, my little Memorydex card, was created with the marigold paper as well as just a white heavy cardstock behind it just to give it some weight. I added some of this lace right here on the end. And then these puffy MDC alphas are from Cocoa Daisy. So I just love that. I think it's super cute. So now we can put in our Memorydex cards. Now before I do that, I wanted to mention that I use the chopping mats from the Dollar Tree. They come in 2 in a pack. They're 11 by 14, very long. And I use my Cricut, and I actually cut out another Memorydex card that was the same size as my Ireland Forever Memorydex card. What that does is sometimes when you put in larger Memorydex cards, they kind of start to slope or they end up kind of falling down, and then everything else goes as well. And I thought this would be a nice little backer for it to help kind of keep it upright. So we're going to put this in our tray here. Yeah, see, now that fits upright instead of like sliding forward and sloping. So I really kind of like that idea. And then we will add our Farm to Table Memorydex card. So there we have it. I had a lot of fun creating this project. So I'm looking forward to creating some more Memorydex cards to go in here. I know I'm going to be doing one for Country Bunny, What's Cooking, and A Slice of Summer. Those are all 3 collections that I have coming up from Country Craft Creations. So let me know what you think. Thanks a lot for joining me. See you next time.